Aw, yeah. That's right, guys. You know what's coming. I'm finally conforming and doing my DVD collection video. I'm doing this partially because I want you to see what I own, so if you want me to review any of these movies, let me know. So here we go. Let's start out with the first and newest addition to the collection, The Muppets. A fantastic revival, a great movie, and a great DVD. The Crazies, an incredibly underrated horror film. The Expendables, one of the best action movies of the past 10 years. Flyboys. Yeah, this is the thing. I'm going to have quite a few embarrassing DVDs in here because I used to buy a lot of movies when I was a kid, even if they sucked. Flyboys doesn't suck quite as bad as some of the other movies you're going to see later on, but it's a little bit painful to have. Scott Pilgrim, one of my favorite movies of all time, one of the best comedies ever made. Taken, improved Liam Neeson's status as a badass mofo. I Love You Man, an incredibly hilarious comedy that I just love to death and can watch 200 times. 3:10 to Yuma, another incredibly underrated movie. Russell Crowe should have been nominated for Best Actor for this movie. This is a great Western, and probably my favorite Western ever. Talladega Nights. Now, this is my favorite comedy ever. I have to say I've quoted this movie more times than you can count. I've seen it 200 times, probably literally. It blows my mind. Just Like Heaven, a really sweet romantic comedy. Daredevil, the original cut. It's been mangled because this is the first DVD they ever released of this film, and I actually love this movie. If you guys want me to review this, I will, because I actually have a way different opinion on Daredevil than most people. That's the first pile. The original X-Men, a very solid film. You Don't Mess with the Zohan. This is a movie that I enjoyed a little more than most people. It's stupid, but it's funny. Here we go. This is one of the embarrassing ones. The infamous You, Me, and Dupree, which I know was an awful movie, but I still enjoy watching from time to time. Another embarrassing one. Spider-Man 3. One of the most disappointing films, not just films, experiences of my life. That being said, I had to own it just because I had wanted to own the whole trilogy. Here's Spider-Man 2. One of my favorites ever. Probably in the top 3 movies of all time, in my opinion. Spider-Man, the original. And the first and third Lord of the Rings. I don't own the second for whatever reason, but I'm going to buy it eventually. Here's hoping. Transformers. Michael Bay's big-budget extravaganza. And its sequel. Yeah, I know. Bit of a miserable disappointment, but I own it anyway, and I'm going to get Dark of the Moon eventually. Up, which is actually a film that I don't like very much anymore. I actually bitterly hate this film whenever I watch it. I'm so over this movie. There's so many flaws in it, and I would love to review this movie one day, personally, just to expose all the problems with it. War of the Worlds, a flawed but fun remake. Tom Cruise is good in it. Steven Spielberg's a brilliant director. And the one-shot tracking shot where they're like in the car on the interstate trying to get away from the aliens, and some of the other set pieces in here are absolutely incredible. Up in the Air by one of my favorite directors, Jason Reitman. Great movie. Tropic Thunder, hilarious. X-Men First Class, one of the best reboots ever made. X-Men The Last Stand. X-Men 2, which I don't think is as good as most people think it is, but I still like very much. Big Mama's House. Don't ask me why I have this one, but I do. Blades of Glory, which I think is pretty funny. I'm a big Will Ferrell fan, even when he makes ridiculously stupid movies like this. Hancock with Will Smith, a really underrated film. You got the nice, whatever this is. It's kind of a weird inside box here, and then you got the back. And it's underrated. I really enjoy it. The Chronicles of Narnia 1, which I actually lost the disc for. Limitless. Great, great movie. Another great, great movie. Warrior. One of the best sports movies ever made, if not the best. Super 8. A great throwback to Steven Spielberg, and a really fun movie. Gran Torino, one of Clint Eastwood's finest hours, a really funny and poignant film that I can watch over and over again. Scary Movie 4. Yeah, don't ask me why I don't own the originals, but I own this one. It's okay, but it's very stupid. Secondhand Lions. Now, this is a really underrated, fantastic movie. This is a great family film. This is the definition of a good family movie. Shrek 2, good sequel. Shrek 1, great movie. The Dark Knight, my favorite movie of all time. Need I say more? It's The Dark Knight. Batman Begins. 21, which I actually think is underrated as well. Very fun movie to watch. Anger Management. Now, I'm a big Sandler fan, or at least early Sandler. And this is one of his last movies that was really, really good. And it's really funny. It's not really, really good. It's just really funny, and I enjoyed it a whole lot. Big Daddy, my favorite Adam Sandler movie ever. The Roland Emmerich version of Godzilla. I'm just finding more and more gems in here, huh? Yeah, I don't know why I own this. It's awful. The Pirates of the Caribbean quadrilogy, which I enjoy all but the third one greatly. Here's the fourth. Napoleon Dynamite, which I don't like as much as most people, but still think it's quirky and funny. The Nightmare Before Christmas, also a movie I think is a bit overrated, but I enjoy it. Poseidon. Now, when I saw this at first, when I was like 9 or 10, I loved it. So I bought it. And I still think it's well made, and I haven't seen the original, so maybe I'm out of the loop, but I enjoy this movie more than most. Radio, one of the most infamous sports movies of all time. I don't think it's that bad, but not great. Little Nicky. Some consider this to be one of Adam Sandler's missteps. I just think it's just okay. Happy Gilmore? Need I say more? The original Ghost Rider. Yes, when I felt the need to buy everything with a superhero. The Incredibles. One of the greatest superhero movies of all time. Inglourious Bastards. Need I say more? Fun with Dick and Jane. Alright, now, I just had this because it's Jim Carrey and it was used, so I figured why not. Beowulf. A really, really underrated movie. And just a great action movie. This is probably the most epic animated movie ever made. I'm not saying it's the best, just the most epic. And it's got some of the most thrilling action scenes I've probably ever seen. Juno, great comedy. Lakeview Terrace. Now, I actually feel like this film was criminally underrated. Samuel L. Jackson did a great job in this movie. Patrick Wilson and Kerry Washington also did a good movie. It's a movie that really deals with issues of race and intolerance, and I love that. I love this movie. I could watch this movie 5 or 6 or 7 more times. This is one of my most underrated movies. Liar Liar, hilarious. And The Lion King, one of my favorite movies. And guess what, guys? That's just part 1. There's still this whole other row here, which I'm going to do in part 2. So I will see you there.